Yo, Mary, holla back. It's Katelyn. Bye.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about the first time that you met Katelyn.
The first time I met Katelyn was in a party setting. We were at the same place at the same time. I mean, I had seen her at school like a long time ago, but we didn't really talk to each other. So the first time we talked to each other, she was with John, and they were just messing around and acting silly, and I thought that they were really funny, and we actually hit it off and had a few good laughs that night. So
Great. Did you go to middle school and high school with her?
I went to middle school with her, and then when it got to time for high school, she went to Butler Tech, and I stayed at Fairfield High School.
Okay. And what kind of person was she?
She was eccentric. She was different than anyone you'd ever meet in your life. She was hilarious. She's hilarious. Everything, she was pretty serious when she needed to be, but everything was a joke. She could make light of most situations. Like, she could feel the tension when she walked in a room and be like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And she'd just make everybody laugh. I'm really glad I got to spend the few months with her that I did.
Well, and she was an artist. Did she ever share any of her art with you?
She had it all over her bedroom, and she had a lot of it on Facebook. And she is really good friends with one of my really good friends, Sarah, and Sarah had a lot of art projects. They went to Butler Tech together. They were in the digital imaging class or whatever. They were in that class together, and Sarah showed me a lot of artwork projects that they did together too. So yeah, she was really, really talented. I got to go to her internship with her one day and see a photograph that she had taken that was on display in his gallery. That's where, yeah. So that was really cool too.
Great. And she and John, from what you saw, had a really nice, positive relationship.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They were worried that they were spending too much time with each other because they were getting ready to move across the country. You know what I mean? Just them. So we would go on girl dates, me and Katelyn, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, her and John, I don't know, they always seemed happy to me.
Yeah.
Always.
What kind of things would you do on girl dates?
We would go to Chipotle every girl date. We went to Chipotle because it's one of our favorite places to eat. And one time we went to like the Dollar Saver cinemas and watched a scary movie. I think it was Red Riding Hood. I don't know. We rented movies a couple times. One time we went on a girl date to the Gay Pride Parade. She went with me, which was a lot of fun. We have a lot of pictures from that actually. So that's a really good memory. It was so hot that day. One thing I remember her saying is like, "I'm sweating, my thumbs are sweating, I can't even text on my phone because I'm so sweaty." Oh god.
Wow.
My thumbs are sweating. How do your thumbs sweat, Katelyn? Really?
So you got to know her pretty well.
Yeah.
And then you hear, I take it probably during the weekend, that she went missing. How did you first hear about that?
I got a call from Katie Harris. I don't know if you've heard anything about her. I got a call from our friend Katie, and she said, "Hey, weird question, are you with Katelyn?" I'm like, "No, I'm out at Steven's house. Why? What's up?" And she said, "We haven't heard from her since yesterday. Her car's at her house, but she's not answering her phone. We don't know what's going on. So if you hear from her, call me." I was like, "Okay." So like 2 hours later, I had saw that like 4 or 5 people posted a Facebook status about it. So I posted one too. Like, if you hear anything. And then the next day I saw that she was officially reported missing.
Let's see.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was going to be nearly as serious as it was when I first got that call, so.
What did you think at first? Maybe she had just been gone for a few hours, messing around or hanging out somewhere?
Yeah, I don't really know. Sometimes she would just go take pictures of stuff. Sometimes she would just be doing schoolwork and listening to music and zoned out. I didn't really know what she could have been doing. But I mean, it was kind of weird that they called me because we weren't like best friends, but I mean, I guess it was possible that she could have been with me, but I don't know. It was kind of crazy once it all started really really happening. Like, she's actually missing. We are having search parties, searching the woods. We're hanging up fires everywhere. It was really, really scary. Because, I don't know. The stuff you see in the movies. It is.
Did you start thinking about the last time you spoke or saw her, and what was that like? Do you remember what you guys talked
Yeah,
about?
the last time I talked to Katelyn, she was giving me boyfriend advice, telling me that the guy that I liked was just trying to, I guess, just trying to have sex with me, and he didn't really want a relationship with me, and so until I got a new cell phone, I kept that thread in my phone, and it actually helped me stay away from that guy and keep him, because he was just using me anyway. But yeah, that was our last conversation. She gave me some really good advice. And I didn't know that was going to be the last time I talked to her.
Well, and you start seeing things all over the media. How did it feel to be watching TV and seeing these stories, knowing that that was a really good friend of yours?
It's really scary that something like that could happen in Fairfield. It was really scary that something like that could happen to one of my friends. I don't even know what happened, but the fact that we don't know that she just was gone, it was almost like aliens abducted her or something. Like, I wasn't in my right mind a lot back then, but at the same time, it was devastating to not know. I just couldn't imagine being John or her family or people that were closer to her than I was, and how they felt, because it was scary. It was tragic for me. I mean, what would it be like for them?
Although the media was pretty fair with John, I guess on Facebook and other places, people weren't really that fair. How did you feel about what he was going through?
Well, I tried to defend him a couple times on Facebook, because I'll tell you a story. There was one time we were all sitting on the couch smoking a bowl. It was me, John, and Katelyn. It was just us three. And the spider was on the wall. And me and Katelyn were like, ah, kill it! Oh my God, get it! And John got a piece of paper and a cup and he caught the spider and put it outside. Like, so when people were saying those things about such a nice, kind-hearted human being, I just couldn't understand why people would think that of him. I mean, I guess because that's how it happens in the movies, but that's why I'm still friends with him. He could never do anything like that. Never.
A few weeks go by, you're watching and seeing some of the searches. Did you participate in any of the ground searches?
Yeah, a couple. I did a lot more hanging fires than I did participating in the searches, because at that point in time, it was only a year after I had been in my car accidents and I broke my leg in 10 places. So,
wow.
I knew that Katelyn, like, while I was hanging fires, I was like, I should be out there searching, but I had my subconscious telling me Katelyn would be okay with you not searching, because she got me a cane to help me walk, because I limped so hard back then. She got me a cane to help me walk. She gave me John's old crutches too, because he had broke his leg. So I felt like she would be understanding that I wasn't walking through the woods and stuff, but probably hung like 500 flyers. I hung all of Camelot Drive, which is my neighborhood growing up. I hung them in every apartment building, which is like 100 at least.
Yeah. A few months go by, and then the terrible news comes from Indiana about her remains being found. Can you describe that day to me and how you first found out?
My sister-in-law called me and told me that they found remains and they thought that they were Katelyn's. And I don't know, I had hope that maybe she just ran away from her life or something. That's what I hoped. I didn't want to think that she could do that to so many people, but at the same time, I didn't want to think that she was dead. But don't know. I was in the car and my sister-in-law called me and I immediately hung up the phone and got on Facebook and searched the internet and started reading about it myself, and just waited and went to her celebration of life events and waited to hear if it was 100% hers. And so,
Did you attend the funeral?
yes, I did.
Okay. What was the mood like there, considering someone so young passing away? What were your memories?
There were a lot of people trying really hard to be happy and positive. I had my 3-month-old son with me at the time, so I used him a lot to help keep myself in a happy place. You know what I mean? I actually held him most of the time instead of leaving him in his car seat, even though he was asleep, just to try to keep myself from crying, because it was, I don't know, it's really hard. I've been to a lot of funerals in my life, and Katelyn's was really hard because she was just such a beautiful person. And the way it's looking like someone did this to her. She couldn't have just dumped her, you know what I mean? She couldn't have just dumped herself. So to think that someone could just do that, such a beautiful person. It was there were a lot of people that were trying really hard to keep it happy and remember the good times with Katelyn. So that was really good, because that's how she would have wanted it. She wouldn't have wanted everybody blubbering the whole time.
Do you pretty much think of her almost every day, still to this day?
Yeah, I have a flower growing upstairs. I think it's upstairs. I don't think I repotted it, but I had a flower that I got from seeds from one of her memorial benefits, and when I see it, I think of her. And I get sad a lot. I've actually lost a lot of friends lately. I had a friend, my friend got shot by the police a few years, about a year and a half ago. Like, just crazy that so many young people are losing their lives, and I just can't believe that Katelyn lost her life in such an insane way. I just don't understand. And I also don't understand how we still don't know, like, what's going on. Why can't they figure it out? But that's off subject. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. And it's no big secret that, sure, she used, just some pretty light recreational drugs. Like
we smoked pot, and
Yeah.
I knew she did mushrooms once or twice, like psilocybin mushrooms. But other than that, I didn't know her to do other drugs. I, on the other hand, did pain pills and Xanax. I never did anything too hard, but I did extra drugs. And when I did them around Katelyn, she never asked to join me. She never judged me either, so that was nice.
Over the last few weeks and months, there's been a little bit of speculation that it might have been drug related, the initial death. What do you think about that, knowing that she really didn't do a lot of hard stuff?
I really don't. I don't know. I don't know, because we're running out of options of what could have happened. So what my thing is, well, can't they test her bones or something to find out if she was using drugs so we can know? Because I don't think she would use drugs. Me personally, she does not seem like the kind of person that could be coerced into doing something she didn't want to do. She just doesn't. But at the same time, I only hung out with her once a week, maybe three times a month. You know what I mean? I wasn't around her all the time, so I don't know what she was like when she wasn't around me. But she always, and everybody else always says, that she was exactly the same as she was around me. So I just don't see Katelyn doing drugs. But I don't want to say that couldn't have happened, because what if it did? What if it did? And because I'm someone that was close to her said, no, that's no way, so I don't really know. I really don't.
Yeah. What do you think about the job that Fairfield Police Department has done through this?
They're a joke. I don't want to say that they're a joke, because they are trying, I guess, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot more effort that could be put in, because this is Fairfield. People move to Fairfield for their families to live in a safe place, and if not for Katelyn's family, do it for the city of Fairfield, because I'm sure there's people that are like, I don't even want to live here anymore, because people are going missing and getting shot by the police, and like all kinds of crazy stuff has been happening in Fairfield. And, like, I don't understand what's going on lately. I just don't.
Does it make you wonder how safe Fairfield might actually be?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I grew up there my whole life, and I mean, obviously I still got into the wrong scene for a little while, but it's the suburbs. It's not supposed to be a place where people could allegedly be kidnapped or murdered and left in the creek. Because the girl that was found in the creek, and then, like, there's just, I don't know about Fairfield anymore. Because I wanted to eventually, when my son started school, be living in Fairfield so he could go to Fairfield School District. And within the last year or two, I don't know. I mean, that was always my plan when I thought about having kids when I was younger, because Fairfield was always so nice.
Do you think the case will ever be solved?
I hope so. I really do. I think if they continue to have the private investigator working on the case, that he'll stay on Fairfield's rear end to keep working, because there's no reason that this should just get pushed aside. There's no reason it should just get pushed aside. Everyone deserves justice, especially a beautiful person like Katelyn Markham.
And last question, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to talk about or say or share with me?
I just want to make sure everybody knows that Katelyn was an amazing person, and John is an amazing person, and I don't know what happened, but I would really like for someone to figure it out, because there are so many people, aside from just me and the way I feel, I'm sure there's people that didn't even know her that are scared, and I'm sure there's people that, I know for a fact there's people that didn't even know her that are dedicated to her cause and finding out what happened to her. And that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I've talked to the private investigators, because I'm willing to do whatever I can to figure out what happened to her.